Emmanuel Chizilo, and I graduated from the University of Benin. So last year I was opportune to be selected for EducationUSA Opportunity Fund Program. So I'll be talking about EducationUSA Opportunity Fund Program, what it takes to prepare a strong application, and what EducationUSA Opportunity Fund Program is all about. So I'll be sharing my screen. Sorry, can you disable the sharing of screen?
Okay.
Natalia, make him a co-host.
All right. Okay. So you can try now. Okay.
Yeah, we can see the screen now.
Sorry, I'm coming. All right. You can see it clearly. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it. It's clear.
All right. So I'll be speaking on EducationUSA Opportunity Fund Program, the application, what it takes to get in, and what the program is all about. So some of the things we'll be discussing.
Mane,
Yes, sir.
can you please run the slideshow?
You said?
Can you run the slideshow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the slide.
Yeah, but we cannot see, it's not the slideshow mode.
Okay.
Slideshow from beginning. Okay, like that. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, USA scholarship.
So hope you know how to navigate. You can use your arrow key forward or backward.
All right.
Okay.
So in this section, I'll be talking about what EducationUSA Opportunity Fund is, who are they looking for, what are the benefits of OFP awardees, how can I apply, then what's going to happen when shortlisted. Then we'll look into the application questions as well as the requirement for application. Then we can ask our questions and get answers. So what's EducationUSA Opportunity Fund Program? First, I would like to say that OFP is not a scholarship. Most people, like when they hear EducationUSA and they feel like once you get EducationUSA, you are getting a scholarship. EducationUSA is not a scholarship. It doesn't give you a scholarship. It's actually a program assist qualified low-income Nigerian students who are having challenges with the upfront cost. Upfront cost means the financial requirements like you need in order to secure a fully funded offer in the US. So you are having challenges with paying application fees, writing standardized tests. So once you get accepted into EducationUSA OFP, you get the privilege to assess these financial requirements. So it's a program that helps qualified low-income Nigerian students. Then EducationUSA OFP is sponsored by the US government. It's not an individual program, it's US government that sponsors it. And they sponsor it through the grants that is offered by the Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs in the US. So who are they looking for? That's to say, what does it take to be a part of EducationUSA OFP? First is you must be a first-class graduate of Nigerian university or a second-class upper graduate. But for second-class upper graduates, it's always advisable you have a very strong profile. First-class students should also have a strong profile. Then STEM majors are always preferred. Okay, I will talk about that later. Then they are looking for people that have a very strong leadership skills. And leadership skills can actually be expressed by some of the essays you are going to write, as well as what is in your CV. Then those that have participated in local and international activities, those that have enough research experience, participated in conferences, have publications, if any. But the publications are not really necessary, because for me, when I applied, I had no publication yet, I was selected. Then MOOC here stands for Massive Open Online Courses, like those that have taken several online courses. Then those that have financial need, this is actually very important, because for you to be considered for OFP, you must show that you have a financial need, because there are some essays you are going to write during the application, or there are some information that you're going to provide that will indicate if you have financial need or not. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Then finally, commitment to give back. This is something you are receiving, so you must show that commitment to like return back to the generations that will come after you. Then what are the benefits that an awardee of OFP stands to get? First is mentorship. Now, the mentorship for OFP awardees is kind of, well, I say is a kind of special mentorship, because they give them a close one-on-one mentorship. You work with the advisors that will help you, that will guide you through the application process. So some of the things included in the mentorship include you will be attending boot camps, both virtual and live. And the boot camp, they will train you on what it takes to write CV, to write SOP, like everything you need for application process. They will prepare you during the boot camp. Then secondly, the advisors, they help to review application materials once you want to submit your application. Then thirdly is that EducationUSA always organize school webinars, like several schools in the US organize their webinars through EducationUSA. So being a part of OFP gives you an opportunity to meet with the schools and talk with them, and sometimes ask questions, and most times to get application fee waivers from the school. Then fourth is streamlining your options. Like most people don't know the school to apply. For me, when I wanted to start my application, like I have several options. I don't know the one to apply, but it was through the help of one of the advisors in EducationUSA, I was able to make my selections, choose the various schools to apply. So these are some of the mentorship, some of them because there are still a lot of them. Then the financial benefits. There are lots of financial benefits. First is you write the standardized test. Some people find it very difficult when it comes to GRE, TOEFL, Duolingo. Like you want to write all these, but there is no money to write them. So as an OFP awardee, you will be assisted with the finance to write this. Like for me, I wrote GRE, I wrote TOEFL, I wrote Duolingo, I wrote the three of them. And I know I wouldn't have been able to write them if I wasn't an OFP awardee. So that is an opportunity you stand to get. Then application fee. If you are also an awardee, you'll be given the privilege, okay, some of your application fees will be paid, not like all the application fees. Let's say you want to apply to 10 schools or 15 schools, they cannot pay all, but they can pay some of your application fee. But even though they are not going to pay all your application fees, they will teach you how to get application fee waivers. Let me also give an instance. I applied to over 15 schools for fall 2022. And out of the 15 schools, I paid for like 3 or 4. Then about 9 or 10 of them, I actually got personal waivers from the school. It's not like the general waiver everybody sees online, like people are sharing. This one is personal waiver. The school gives you the waiver personally. So I was able to get that because of the kind of training I received on how to contact schools in order to receive application fees. Then also in the webinars that will be organized by EducationUSA, if you attend the webinars, you can ask for application fee waivers, and they will also, some of them give, like most application fee waivers I normally see online, most of them emanate from EducationUSA. So that's okay. To also add to that application fee, there are some times like when you are submitting your application, for some schools in the US, they will ask you if you are an EducationUSA Opportunity Fund member. If you answer yes and provide your award letter, it gives you an automatic waiver, fee waiver to apply to the school. So then also EducationUSA covers for OFP members, international passports if you don't have anyone. Then for some people that are having issues with credential evaluation, you can also stand the chance to get maybe your transcript evaluated because you are an EducationUSA Opportunity Fund member. Then it also gives you a privilege to become a member of EducationUSA. Okay, let me say this. There is a difference between being an EducationUSA OFP member and being an EducationUSA member. EducationUSA OFP members, all of them are EducationUSA members, but not all EducationUSA members are in OFP. If you are just an EducationUSA member, like you don't really receive the financial benefits. You can receive like the mentorship and the rest, but that financial benefit is not there because it's only for OFP members. Then finally, with respect to this, is like when you finally secure an offer, there are some fees you have to start paying, like the service fee, the visa processing fee, your flight ticket, and this costs a lot. So being an OFP member gives you an access to this. Then how can I apply? So this is a site to apply for EducationUSA OFP, opportunityfundsnigeria.org. Then when you are doing the application, you'll be asked to select either Lagos or Abuja, because in Nigeria, we have 2 advising centers. We have the Lagos Center and we have the Abuja Center. So you are the one that you are expected to choose, and you are not expected to apply to both of them. You can only apply to one. Then the deadline for submission of application is April 30th. That's the end of this month by 11:59. But I think you don't need to wait till then. You just have to do everything and apply early. So when you are shortlisted, what is going to happen after shortlist? The first one is you are going to write GRE screening test. Being shortlisted doesn't mean you are selected. Being shortlisted means like you are close to be selected. So there will be a GRE screening test. That's why I will always advise someone that is preparing to submit applications to also be preparing for GRE, because they will use it to screen some people out. Then after the screening test, there will be an oral interview. Then after that, there will be final selection. So once you are selected, then you start preparing for standardized tests that they will pay for. Then you start going for boot camps. Then you start registering for your standardized test. Then you start preparing your application materials like your SOP, your CV, writing samples, transcripts, all these things they will teach you during the boot camp. Then after that, you start submitting your applications. All these things I'm mentioning now, they have their, once you enter into OFP, there is always a timeline, like a timetable. So they tell you this is the time you're expected to do this. So after submission of applications, then you start preparing for graduate school interviews. Then you get your offers, then you make your decision. Then EducationUSA organizes visa orientation. as well as pre-departure orientation, then finally departure. So all these things, you are going to work with the advisors in Education USA. They will guide you throughout the whole processes. All right. So now let's go to the application questions as well as the requirement, what you will see when you want to apply. So I'm sorry, it might be a bit blurred, but okay, I'm going to read them out. These are the requirements for application. First is that you must have a copy, you should have a copy of your university transcript if available, but this is not always compulsory because I believe even Education USA understand the stress of getting a transcript from university. So, but if you don't have the university transcript, you can still use your student copy if you have any. Then you should have your copy of statement of results or your degree certificate. Then you have to submit a detailed academic CV. I believe this is like this one is like the strongest because your CV is a summary of everything about you. So you have to prepare a very detailed academic CV. And some people still don't get the difference between academic CV and work CV. Two of them are different. Your academic CV have to reflect a lot of things, your publications, your research experience, your online courses, a lot of things should be in your academic CV, your leadership skills, your engagement with local organization activities, international conferences, and the rest. Then you should also submit it's not really compulsory, like a scanned copy of your certificate of achievements. But though it's not compulsory, I will always advise like all the achievements you've received, like you can merge everything in one file and submit them. The certificate you received in school, the online courses you took, your certificates, or the awards they give you everywhere, just gather everything, merge them in one file and submit them because it's not enough to just write. When they see the proof, they will know that, okay, this person really knows what he or she is doing. Then finally, is a copy of GRE results. But GRE results is not always compulsory. For me, I did not write GRE, but I applied. And they said it's recommended for engineering students because once you're applying in US, for engineering, most times, GRE is always compulsory, though COVID-19 changed a lot of things. But if you don't have it, that should not stop you from applying, but it can be a bonus to you. All right. So I just brought out some of the questions that you will see while you're applying. Then I will just touch a few of them. Then this very part talks about your family. Like you can see the number of direct siblings, their age, the next one says number of other dependents, how much was your school fees in the university, who paid your university fees, and the rest. So now this very one is the part where you demonstrate your financial need. Remember that one of the requirements that was listed is that you must show financial need. So this is the part where you show them that you really need this thing, you don't have the money. So you have to be honest in answering these questions. Then apart from being honest, try to really like express your financial need. It's very, very important. Try to express your financial need. Someone might say, look pitiful. And some say, okay, when you are doing scholarship application, you don't need to look pitiful. But I think at this point, you really need to look pitiful if you need to be pitied. You need to look pitiful at this point. So it is very important because EducationUSA will not want to select a student that can fund for all the upfront costs. So you just have to like answer this part very well. Okay. Then okay, we have the short answer questions here. What do you intend to further your study in? That's what do you want to study in the university when you get to the US? Please, you should try to be specific. If you want to study biological sciences, if you want to study biomedical engineering, if you want to study material science, you need to be specific in answering it. What are your career planned career? That's what are your career plans? The course you want to study, what do you want to use it and do? How do you want to contribute to the society? And I feel if you're answering what are your career plans, you should always channel it back to maybe your local community or your country. Then what made you develop interest in your choosing field? Most times people answer this question with maybe a story, something that happened in your community that spurred up your interest and the rest. So you must have something that instigates you. So you need to answer that. Then outside your planned career and study, what are your other academic, other skills do you hope to master, or what do you simply have a burning desire to know? Okay, let me just give them an instance. When I was answering this part during my own time, I was taking a course in artificial intelligence, but I'm a biological science student. So I was taking a course on artificial intelligence, and I was really interested in that artificial intelligence. I have my reasons. So that was what I used to answer this very part, artificial intelligence and how the world is navigating towards that path. So outside your career path, outside engineering, outside accounting, outside whatever, what do you have a burning desire for? Then opportunity fund program is more of a family than access to university. In what ways will you contribute to the OF family? Yes, opportunity fund is a program, is a family. We act like family. So what are you going to contribute? So some of the things I can maybe suggest to you is like, as an opportunity fund program, first of all, is that you have to show commitment, because some people feel like quite lazy about it was selected. They don't go through the process like that. So you must show that commitment, like you will really commit participating in the boot camp, going for the webinars, doing your application, submitting your application for the advisors to review, preparing for your standardized test. Then secondly is that you can also act like volunteers in the OFP programs or Education USA webinars that they are organizing. You can act as volunteers. Then thirdly is that you can serve as a mentor to the upcoming scholars. I think I mentioned something like that during my own time, because one of the things they are looking for is the commitment to give back. So one of the ways you can show that you can really give back is serving as mentors to the upcoming scholars. Like you can help them, teach them on what they are expected to do. So I think some of those points will help you to answer this. Then the statement of purpose or personal statements. So even when you will be applying in the US, you are expected to write a statement of purpose or your SOP. So Education USA wants to see your statement of purpose. And this time around, they even made it 500 words. And let me say this, since they said 500, please don't go beyond 500. You can submit less than 500 or 500. Don't write beyond 500, because if you are writing 501, it's a disqualification. So you have to maintain the word limit. So in your SOP is what even in the US they will review before they give you admission. So what are some of the things that are going to be in your SOP? First, I think you need to talk about your interest, like what instigated your interest for the program. Then you can talk about your undergraduate, maybe your undergraduate research, what you did in your undergraduate, or if you have any other research that you are doing or you've done that is actually contributing to your field. You can also talk about your undergraduate research, but don't just say your undergraduate research. You have to talk about how the undergraduate research has prepared you for a postgraduate pursuit. Then when you are done talking about that, then you talk about your experiences, like your work experiences, your internship. And when you are talking about this, please make sure it's relevant. I cannot be a biological science student unless I'm working in a bank and I'm writing an SOP and I'm talking about banking work in my SOP. So if you have work experience or internship program that is related to your your field of study, you can talk about that. Then you have to now sell yourself. What have you done to the local community? What have you contributed to Nigeria? Do you have publications? Like you need to like sell yourself very well. Okay, you graduated with second class upper, you didn't graduate with a first class. How were you able, okay, what made you not? Because you can give reasons why you couldn't graduate with first class. Or even if you graduated with 2-1, what do you now have that makes you to stand out even in the midst of first class graduate? Like you sell yourself. Then I think finally, you need to talk about the course that you are going for or your research interests. Talk about your research interests. Okay, let's say I'm a biological science student. I want to concentrate on microbial pathogenesis. Then you talk about that microbial pathogenesis, what you intend to do with the microbial pathogenesis, what it's all about. Then you can conclude with something that is very interesting and the rest of them. So that's your SOP. Remember, it should be 500 word limit. All right, so thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you for the wonderful lecture delivered. I will end the recording now while we move into our question and answer session. And if you have any question, you can drop either in the chat or say it out. Thank you. I don't know if our mentor, Dr. Chris, has something to say before I start the recording.
I just want to say thank you to Emmanuel Chijindu. I think this was well prepared and very well presented. So like Nathaniel said, I think we should stop the recording so that it will not be too long. Then we can take questions. I have some questions, right? So stop the recording, Nathaniel.
All right.